Welcome to Kids Recall. In today's video, we'll be going through the 2016 superhero movie, Doctor Strange. It's time to recall. Let's get started. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie starts when we see a sorcerer tear some pages from a chained book in an old, seemingly gothic library. His minions restrain the librarian with bands of energy. Celeste uses two large knives to decapitate the man and escapes with the help of several followers. The group's leader is named Kay. As they do their deed in the library, they have the book and go on to try to steal some important pages from that book. This is when a lady who is called the Ancient One shows up and goes after them as Kay makes a portal for himself and his minions to get out of the library and to get away from the hooded figure whom they all fear. As he flees, Celeste bends, folds, and reshapes the streets and buildings of the city. Though she's a formidable, magical fighter, the Ancient One is unable to pen down Celeste, and he escapes. We go on to learn that the Ancient One is the woman who taught them all the magic and tricks. She used to be in the school from where they've all been trained. However, now she has gotten to know that Kay has bad intentions, as he has tried to steal the important pages of the book, and the reason behind it is not going to be a pretty one. She's sure that Kay is up to something really bad, which will bring nothing but chaos into the world. After we see Kay and his whole team escaping from the Ancient One, the scene changes to the present time. In New York City, renowned surgeon Dr. Stephen Strange is cool and confident as he performs a delicate brain operation at Metro General Hospital. Dr. Strange is a good doctor and a very colorful person. He's someone who earns less than he spends. He is what we call a free spirit who does not shy away from being goofy and bratty. As the doctor finishes, his ex-girlfriend, Dr. Christine Palmer, rushes in to show him an x-ray of a patient with a bullet in his brain. He immediately dismisses the case as hopeless, but with further prodding from Christine, he realizes that the patient is comatose because his medulla oblongata has been poisoned by trace elements in the bullet. Strange realizes he can save the man's life and goes to the ER surgery and quickly does a manual extraction with forceps, demonstrating his impressive hand control. The doctor who made the initial diagnosis, Nicodemus West, is left humiliated by Strange's overwhelming ego. Later, Strange and Christine joke about their on-again, off-again relationship. She turns down his request to join him that evening, and when he gets home, Strange dresses for the evening in his expensive condo, pausing to choose from a drawer full of high-end watches. Speeding out of his condo in his Lamborghini Huracan, Strange heads north. He calls an assistant to consider his next patients. He's in high demand, but he wants only difficult, interesting cases. Distracted and driving recklessly, he crashes, and the car plunges into the river. As his car is wrecked, his hands slam into the dashboard. He's airlifted back to his hospital, and Christine is there when he awakens badly hurt. His hands have to be rebuilt and are immobilized in a framework of pens and wires. Recovering slowly after further surgeries, his hands remain stiff and shaky. He can no longer work as a neurosurgeon. He's pissed off at the doctors who performed the surgery on him. He goes on to tell them that their method was wrong, and now he's the one paying for their stupidity. When he's with his physio, he goes on to ask him if he has ever seen a man recovering from as much damage as him. The physio tells him yes. He is then told about a man named Jonathan Pangborn, who inexplicably recovered from a half-body paralysis. He tells him that he was even in worse condition than Strange, and his legs were almost gone, but he still recovered from it. He tells the doctor that the man was being treated by him, but his treatment didn't make him any better, and after that, the man just disappeared from the city. The physio says that he thought the man was dead. But when he saw him after 3 months, the man was standing on his legs, healthy as ever. The man tells Strange that he tried asking him from where he got treated, but he wouldn't say anything. Dr. Strange says that this is not possible, as no one can recover from such a bad condition. The physio tells him that he's going to bring the man's file to him and prove that it's possible. This is when Strange gets motivated. Strange goes to see the man and finds Pangborn playing basketball, and the man tells him he found the cure in Karmatage. He tells the doctor that if he wants to be treated just like the way he got, he should go right away to Karmatage. Dr. Strange thinks about it for a while and then decides to take the chance. He makes his way to the capital of Nepal, Kathmandu. He wanders around the streets of the capital and he's noticed and followed. Another sorcerer, Karl Mordo, saves him from muggers and takes him to Kamar-Taj, where he meets the Ancient One. Doctor Strange thinks that there must be some modern technology used by these people, and there should be top physios, but it doesn't turn out to be like that. The doctor gets pissed and goes on to mock the Ancient One. He says that he spent so much money to get to Nepal for treatment, and now he gets to know that he's just going to have to go through different readings. He says that he wants to get out of this place right away. This is when the Ancient One goes on to punch him in the chest and extract his soul from his body. When the soul gets back to his body, Strange finds it's hard to understand what just happened, and he asked her how in the world did she do that. The Ancient One knows all about Strange and introduces him to an alternate reality where many hidden universes and dimensions can be harnessed for power and mystical guidance. Stephen Strange gets to learn that this world we inhabit is much more than he thought it was. The universe is big and it contains many dimensions. He realizes that the Ancient One is not just a common human being, and that how he behaved with her earlier was really shitty on his part. He then goes on to ask for her forgiveness and begs her to train him as he wants to learn all that he just saw. The Ancient One, however, does not like him and kicks him out of the place. Doctor Strange remains in front of Kamar-Taj, and inside, Karl Mordo tells the Ancient One that they are in need of a man just like Doctor Strange. The Ancient One tells him that she has already lost one of her best students, the guy we saw at the beginning of the movie, Kay. She tells him that he too came in here just like Doctor Strange, and when he learned all the art, he ran away and now he has his own ambitions. After much persuasion by Mordo, the Ancient One finally agrees and Doctor Strange is allowed back into Kamar-Taj. He begins training and slowly learns to open gates to jump across the world. He learns the temple is part of a secret group saving the world from enemies in other dimensions and universes. There are other teachers too, and they teach him different arts and tricks, and he's able to rebuild the tissues in his body. They train him to be in control of every obstacle that he may come to face. He himself is a brain surgeon, so he finds everything really interesting and goes on to read many books containing all kinds of knowledge about the brain. Doctor Strange even tries to enhance his mental capability by reading many books. The Ancient One goes on to notice that Doctor Strange is a very quick learner, and he's good at everything that's been taught to him so far. While training, Mordo shows Strange a magic stick, a relic that's been used as a weapon, and says relics must choose their user. He explains that Caecilius, a former student of the Ancient One, has stolen a spell from a book and escaped with 3 zealots. There is worry he will decipher the spell and call in Dormammu from the dark dimensions to take over the world. Strange is upset and says he hasn't come to join their group, only to cure his hands. As he gets his training, he becomes more curious, and one day he goes on to visit the Kamar-Taj library, which is kept by Wong. Strange becomes a voracious student, borrowing and reading many books from the humorless Wong. When he asks about the book that Caecilius was after, Wong explains that it's reserved for use only by the Sorcerer Supreme, and it's the one that Caecilius stole pages from. When Strange masters creating portals, he steals more books from the library and learns about astral projection. One night when Wong appears to be out of the library, Strange learns how to use a time-shifting pendant, the Eye of Agamotto, which enables him to see the missing page from the book. Mordo and Wong tell him it's forbidden to use time spells, as they can cause time loops that a wielder can be stuck in forever, and also let evil forces into the universe. Wong explains that there are 3 sanctums in London, New York, and Hong Kong, where the group watches out for the world. He also gives more of Dormammu's history, that he's purely evil being, bent on conquering all the known worlds, and that Earth has long been his ultimate target. After getting to know all this, Strange gets even more curious and motivated. He tries to enhance his powers, control, and knowledge by stealing the book, which is supposed to be read only by the Ancient One. Caecilius finally deciphers the stolen spell, and his group attack the London Sanctum, a plain building with a logo window. This is one of the 3 sanctums that played a great role in saving the planet Earth from all the outside powers. He goes on to tell everyone that now he's going to destroy the sanctum in New York. A fight begins, and this is when the backlash from the London Sanctum throws Strange through a door and into the New York Sanctum. The building is deserted as he wanders the floors looking at various artifacts. He notices a burgundy cloak in a glass case that moves as he looks at it. At the end of a corridor, he finds 3 glass doors that turn out to be gateways to other places. The destination is changed by turning a dial next to the door. This is when Caecilius and his group next attack the New York Sanctum. Strange develops fighting skills on the fly. He gets rid of 2 of the zealots using the gateways and the burgundy cloak, a relic which seems to have some intelligence, and wraps itself around him. The cloak helps him subdue the 3rd zealot and restrain Caecilius in an antique binding rack. Strange and Caecilius have a talk about the Ancient One and immortality, in which Caecilius claims that the Ancient One has achieved her long life using powers from the dark dimension. Once Strange lets down his guard, the 3rd zealot revives and stabs him. The doctor then goes on to open a gate and stagger into a janitor's closet in Christine's hospital. He finds her and barely manages to get on a table as Christine hooks him up to a heart monitor and performs emergency periocardicentesis to drain excess blood from around the heart. Meanwhile, Strange separates his astral body and continues to fight the zealot, finally killing him with the help of Christine, who shocks him with a defibrillator, killing the zealot. The zealot isn't visible to Christine, but she can tell something is going on, and she's spooked. Sewn up and recovering, Strange tells Christine he must return and go back through the gate. Caecilius has escaped, and Mordo joins Strange in New York. The Ancient One also comes and suggests Strange take over the New York Sanctum. They're impressed with the magical cape, known as the Cloak of Levitation, has chosen him. However, Strange is reluctant to take on the position until he can tell him more about Caecilius, and also about the Ancient One's use of dark magic to prolong her life. Caecilius returns with more zealots, and Strange creates a mirror dimension to contain the fight, which spills out into the streets. Caecilius uses his powers to shape-shift the city and disorient Strange. The Ancient One returns to help, but she falls and is mortally wounded. Strange takes her to Christine's hospital, but they seem to be out of luck. Strange follows the Ancient One's spirit in his astral form, and they talk overlooking New York City. She accepts this as her end and suggests that Strange can take over. Strange and Mordo then realize Hong Kong is next on Caecilius' list. They get started on it, but the Hong Kong Sanctum has been overrun, and the destructive force is enveloping the city. Wong, who was guarding it, had been killed, and Dormammu's dark dimension is growing from the location of the Sanctum. Strange uses the Eye of Agamotto to start reversing the process, but Caecilius recovers and manages to stun Strange, stopping the process before it can complete. Strange thinks of something and flies off into the heart of the Dormammu's dark dimension. Here he confronts Dormammu and manages to create an infinite time loop. Dormammu kills Strange in various ways, but every time Strange dies, time is always reset at the start of the confrontation. Dormammu is furious, but finally agrees to leave Earth alone in return for Strange stopping the time loop. Back on the street, Strange sends Caecilius and his crew into the dark dimensions just before it vanishes. Mordo is upset that Strange broke the rules in using the time pendant, and that the Ancient One used what he considers to be forbidden powers to prolong her life. Before she died, the Ancient One warned Strange that Mordo was very big on following rules, both his weaknesses and his strength, and that Strange's flexibility would be an important factor when they worked together. But Mordo says there must be a reckoning, and he retires from the group and walks away. Strange and Wong then return to Kathmandu, where Strange returns the Eye of Agamotto, which Wong revealed to be an Infinity Stone. Wong tells him to be ready, and Strange arrives at the New York Sanctum and checks his watch, fully embracing his new role as a sorcerer. In the mid-credits scene, Dr. Strange has a visitor over for tea, who is then revealed to be Thor. Thor has brought Loki with him to New York to search for his father Odin, and Strange offers his assistance. In the post-credits scene, Mordo visits Jonathan Pangdor, the man who was revealed to be healed by his paralysis via sorcery at the beginning of the film, and confronts him over abusing his power, saying that sorcerers only abuse nature. He then says that power is given for a reason before stealing Pangdor's powers, rendering him a paralytic yet again. Mordo then says that there are simply too many sorcerers and walks off, implying that he's going to start going after sorcerers around the world. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.